Good evening, and welcome to my last home. This prison cell in Salt Lake City, Utah, have been my home in the last 669 days, and today is the last. I would love to tell you all that the doors will open and I will walk out as the innocent man I am, but my life will end differently. My name is Joe Hill, and today is the day I die. They will soon march me out of here, place me on the yard against the wall, order, let it go! Fire! And shoot me dead. That is what they think. Because remember, it takes more than guns to kill a man. What they're forgetting to kill is the will to organize. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and meal, where workers strike and organize, you'll find Joe Hill. You'll find Joe Hill. I still have a few minutes to spare before all these nastiness with walls and guns and all of that. So I'd like to tell you all how come a Swedish immigrant ended up with a death sentence hanging over him. How come a man whose only crime was to fight for a decent life for the working class, the right to speak, and wrote a few songs, waiting to die for a murder he has nothing to do with. We start from the beginning. 1902, 13 years ago, I left my home in Sweden, never to return again. Hej då, nu åker jag skriver varje dag, and sat my foot in New York City, and the vast continent laying before me. I came over on the finest Atlantic crossing you can imagine. They were singing music, food, and strolls and music and food all day long. While lunching with some nice American and women, they were Ulrich left and Ulrich right, and that's really funny. Yeah, Ulrich is a Swedish name, and it's the sound you make when you throw up. Ulrich! Ulrich! America was blooming. I moved from state to state, in and out of copper mines, helped build the railroad, shop, lumber, loaded boats, unloaded boats, and it was exactly what me and my fellow workers wanted. But surprise, surprise, when there is coins to be made, somebody going to take advantage of it. A story starting to be shared, and I witnessed it myself. The terrible living condition, the inhumane hours and food that ended no hunger. It's a long way down the soup line. It's a long way to go, and the soup is thin, I know. Goodbye, good old pork chop. Goodbye, Steve beefsteak rare. It's a long way down the soup line. And when we thought that the copper bosses couldn't treat us any worse, or the railroad companies couldn't care less for human lives, the sharks emerged. And the sharks, they offered you work if you paid them the coins you had, just to realize the work was nowhere to be found when showing up. The reason most sharks attacks happening in shallow water, it's not because it's the shark's natural habitat. It's because that's where the humans are. The same way that these sharks so often take advantage of the poorest and most desperate workers, skimming them on their last coins. Near my job today, near with glee, 3 plants on the office fee, my train is running fast, I got a job at last, near my job to thee, near to thee. Right where my job should be, nothing in sight, I see nothing but sand, my job went up a tree, no place to eat or sleep, snakes in the sage bush creep. Near what safe would be sharks compared to thee, nearer to town. Each day hiked all the way near that agency where I paid my fee. And when that shark I see, you bet your boot that he near his God shall be. Leave that to me. And then I met them. The international workers of the world. The IWW, or the Wobblies as we usually was called. The organization that finally fought for the working class. The ones who were never afraid to take a fight. My brothers, my sisters, that would eventually be my death. But even if I would have known that then, I would still have taken the same path and stood by my fellow workers, the international workers of the world. I got my membership in 1910. And not soon after, we start publishing something called the Little Red Songbook, with songs about the harsh time the workers had. Songs that could be sang at rallies, at free speech gatherings. Most of the songs were satirical lyrics of already famous melodies. First we published one of my songs, then another one. Before I knew it, most of the songs had my name on it. But they were never my songs. As soon as they left my hand, they belonged to every copper miner that was forced to work around the clock, to every railroad constructor that was forced to stand in the soup line, to every poor man and woman that was fooled by the sharks, to everyone that was silence, everyone striker, every fighter. The songs belong to you. Would you have freedom from wage slavery? Then join in the grand industrial band. Would you from misery and hunger be free? Then come, do your share. If you want nothing before you're dead, shake it. Ah, shake it. There's power. Sorry. There's power. There's power in the band of working men. When they stand hand in hand, that's power. There's power that must rule in every land. One industrial union grand. If you had enough of blood of the lamb, then join in the grand industrial band. If for change you would have eggs and ham. If you like sluggers to beat off your head, then don't organize your union despise. If you want nothing before you're dead, shake hands with the boss and look wise. Come, all you workers from every land. Come join in the grand industrial band. Then we our share of this earth shall demand. One industrial union grand. Come on. Do you share? We Wobblies were unfamiliar at the time, but things were about to change. A lot happened in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and the bread and roses strikes. In Lawrence, you could find 13 textile mills with 30,000 people working in them. On the first payday of 1912, they get distressing news in their pay envelope. The mill bosses had cut the wages down and their hours they were allowed to work, which is a lot for families that are already living on crumbs. They cry, short pay, cascaded from mill to mill to mill, and by day's end, half of the 30,000 workers had shut down their machines. Better to starve fighting than to starve working, they responded. We Wobblies had few members in Lawrence at the time, but we sent out word to every one of our members across the land to support the walkout in Lawrence. To all red-blooded Wobbly, act, damn you, act, and soon the walkouts grew to 23,000 strong, and now we got the interest of the head of the Federation of Labour condemning the strike, calling us Wobblies an outlaw organization without a slapsy standing in the world of labour. He meant that we wanted to start a revolution with the lies of the wage workers and stir up bitter class hatred. So many of us got jailed for lootering and other made-up causes. They had to send us to jail in other cities. The prisons may be full, but there's still room in the cemetery they threaten us with. Preachers, cop, and money king is walking hand in hand. The boys in blue with stars and stripes is sent by Uncle Sam. still things were looking blue. 'Cause every striker knew that weaving with a bayonet is hard to do. The newspaper reported from the strike in Lawrence, telling their readers about 51 nationalities that spoke 44 languages and dialects, all maintained a united front against the mill companies. They hired guns and state militia. How they for 2 long months faced down hunger, eviction, clubbing, stabbing, bullets. How they stabbed a Syrian man to death and shot and killed an Italian woman. Of some reason, the newspapers weren't surprised by all this. What shocked them was the spirit. The strikers sang. All different nationalities speaking one language when they sang together. And after 2 long months, the strikers showed no way of breaking ranks. The mill company laid down their bayonets and were ready to settle. They offered everything the workers demanded and pledged not to discriminate against strike activity. It was a huge victory for the workers. We probably showed that we were a force to be reckoned with. And I started to turn on the name of all those songs the striker had sang. Writing satirical lyrics wasn't anything new to me. Even since I was a small child in Sweden and my father died of a work accident, leaving my mother alone with me and my siblings. Without any real income, the time was harsh and we sat just as hungry after supper as before. With no help from the government, the only one ready to help was the Salvation Army that was more interested in getting us to pray and actually offering a piece of food. I knew my satirical little songs could make my family laugh and forget about our misery for a while. A short while, but still a while. Long-haired preachers come out every night and they tell you what's wrong and what's right. But when asked about something to eat, they will answer with voices so sweet. You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. And the Starvation Army they play. And they sing and they clap and they pray till they get all the coins on their drum. Then they tell you when you're on the bum, you will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. Remembering back on my childhood, seeing my mother just becoming the wife of my father, struggling with no job, no income, no human rights, it's broke my heart. To see the same thing happening to women in America, I'm glad that we Bobblies fought for all. Yeah, let me tell you a story about a girl. A little girl was working in a big department store. Her little wage for food was spent. Her dress was old and torn. She asked the foreman for a raise, so humble and so shy. And this is what the foreman did reply. Why don't you get a boyfriend? You're some nice old man, you know. He'll give you money if you treat him right. If he got a lot of gold, don't mind if he's old. Go get some nice old gentleman tonight. A little girl then thought, I want to see the owner of the store, and asked the question he heard so many times before. The owner cried, you are discharged! Oh, you're a big disgrace! A ragged thing like you around my store! The little I know a man who can't be wrong, and go and see the preacher in the church where I belong. She told him she was down and out, and this is what the holy man did reply. Why don't you get a boyfriend? Some nice old man you know will give you money if you treat him right. If he got a load of gold, don't mind if he's old. Go get some nice old gentleman tonight. The next day the girl was walking down the street and she saw a sign inside a hall. It said, "One big union will give liberty for all." And she said, "Oh, I'll join the union, and I'll surely do my best." And now, she gaily singing with the rest. All workers do unite and crush the tyrant might. One big banner unfurled. Come, slaves from every land, come join in the fighting band. This girl's name was Hilda, a Swede just like me that I might or might not have spent time with. But I want her to be left out of this story. Okay? I don't want you to ask. She has nothing to do with it, and I want her to be left alone. I want you to she was my rebel girl. Yeah, there are women of many descriptions in this queer world, as everyone knows. They are blue-blooded queens and princesses who wear diamonds, charms made of diamonds and pearls. But the only thoroughbred lady is the rebel girl. Yeah, her hands may be hardened from labor and her dress may not be very fine. The heart in her bosom is beating. That is true. Her class and her kin. The only thoroughbred lady is the rebel girl. There's great fight for freedom with a rebel girl. It's maybe time for me to get to the point to how actually what got locked up in here. Well, first of all, the charges and the trial was a joke. How can I take those serious? I fired my lawyer and took my own defense. I have nothing to hide. But I was walking into an ambush. Have you ever heard of a prosecution and a judge in collusion? Hand-picking the jury in a murder trial. My card was marked in advance. These men wanted me dead. I do not think they appreciated the songs I have written about these men of power and this corrupt system they have built their foundation on. And considering what an effort they put in to shut me up, I took it as a compliment. And little did they know or expect it, that when they tightened their grip on me, workers across the land united in my cause. I was taking my first step to becoming the rebel I was born to be. A symbol for the oppressed working class. A mark. What apparently had happened was the two men had walked into a convenience store, said, "We've got you now," and opened fire. The store owner and his son had died, and the other son had hid and heard the whole thing. And then the murderers had fled the scene without stealing anything. And I explained over and over and over that this was obviously some sort of revenge. And I have never met the family unless had any sort of grudge with them. I told them again and again that I'd been seen in the theater the same night as this occurred, and witnesses walked into the courtroom and said the same thing. The prosecution had no evidence, no murder weapons, and no motive. What they had was two other things. Two other so-called evidence. One, I refuse to explain. And the other one is what these men of power fear the most. My gunshot wound. Yeah, I got shot in the shoulder the same night as the murders occurred. I went to a doctor I know to patch me up. The police offered a reward, and well, here I am. Who shot me then? Was it my friend Otto that got jealous because me and Hilda was having a fling? Well, if it was, I would never expose Hilda as an unmarried woman having a relationship with a man. When my mother, back in Sweden, got pregnant before she got married, and the state and church, which was basically the same thing at the time, branded her as a whore, and she was considered less of a human her whole life. I would never drag Hilda into that. And I told you to leave her out of this. I want her to be left alone. She has nothing to do with it, and I want her to be left alone. No matter how and by whom I got shot, it is not my place to explain myself. It is the prosecution's job to put me on the place of the murderers, and he failed. I was not there, I did not hold the gun, and I did not pull the trigger. The other so-called evidence did they find in my pocket. Yeah, this is what really sealed the deal. Symbolize the organization of the poor. The way of showing many are stronger than few. The bullets, the class war, and we were gaining territory. They were trembling in their socks. They gave me the choice of hanging and death by firing squad, and I chose the latter. So here we are, 22 months later, and looking at the last. Before I go, I would like to thank you for keeping me company on these strange days. Since I got here, more and more people have organized themselves in a union. So it's just a matter of time before we get decent pay, human living conditions, a union for every trade, and maybe paid holidays. And they tried to drag me down, but I just got stronger. Since I got here, I have written more songs than ever. Casey Jones, the union scab. There's power in a union. The preacher and the slave. And these words will live on long after I'm dead. It takes more than guns to kill a man. But the time has come. Time I suppose rather than waited for. My friends, goodbye. I die like a true rebel. Don't waste any time mourning. Organize. And it's 100 miles to Wyoming. Could you please arrange to have my body out to the state line to be buried? I don't want to be found dead in Utah. Brought outside in the yard of the prison and placed by a wall. A heart-shaped piece of paper is placed on my chest for aiming, but they could have saved that effort. My heart is pumping faster than it ever has, so it could just as well have been outside my shirt. I am looking down into 6 barrels of 6 rifles with 6 soldiers holding 6 fingers on 6 triggers, loaded with 5 deadly bullets and a blank. None of the soldiers know which one is holding the rifle with the blank bullet, but they can all go home after this with the belief that they did not kill a man this day. And they can all look into their... I have no grudge against them. I forgive them all. None of them was any triggers. State of Utah do. The corrupt justice system of the poor do. The mill bosses do. Sharks do. The enemies of the class war do. A sergeant next to me is ordering load. I copy him. Load! The ordering aim. I copy. Aim! The ordering fire. Go on then, fire! My will is easy to decide, for there is nothing to divide. My king don't need to fuss and moan, must not cling to a rolling stone. My body, if I could choose, I would to ashes it reduce, and let the merry breezes blow my dust where the flowers grow. Perhaps some fading flowers then will come to life and bloom again. This is my last and final will. Good luck to all of you. Yo, Will.